Hi, I'm Rita Peterson with Everything Homemade, and today we are going to make a delicious gluten-free bread. This is my helper Orion, who is 8, and a special thanks to Ocean, who is 7 and is filming right now. So let's start with the pan. So we're going to get the pan ready, and I like to use extra virgin olive oil, just a little bit into the bottom, and then we're going to take our brush and just oil our pan. Just like so. Because you're using glass, you need something in it so your bread doesn't stick. Now, oil alone won't just do the trick. So for gluten-free cooking, I like to use poppy seeds to coat my pan. One, it's gluten-free, and two, it kind of creates a cool look on the outside. So I'm going to put some poppy seeds in the bottom, and basically I'm just going to coat my pan and let the poppy seeds stick to the oil. Perfect. So my pan looks like this, and I'm just going to set it aside. Okay, so what we want to do to start this bread is Orion's going to crack 6 eggs. So he's going to work on that for a moment. Now I'm going to explain some of the ingredients here while he does that. First of all, the bread that I'm going to show you is going to be a base bread. So meaning that when you have a recipe that works really good, you can switch it from here. So this will be your base. So then if you want to add chocolate chips to it and a little bit of lemon zest with lemon juice with maybe a little extra sugar, with honey or coconut sugar, you can put it into a chocolate chip loaf. Instead of chocolate chips, you can add raisins. Instead of raisins, you can add dried apple, apricots, and so forth and so on. You can add orange zest and a little bit of orange juice into it. So you can start switching it up. I mean, you could put grated zucchini in it. And the list goes on. So this is your base. From here, you can switch it up. And another one comes to just to mind would be pumpkin. You can add a pumpkin pie filling to it and use some of the pumpkin pie spices you would use and make it a pumpkin loaf. So there's many uses to this. And I'm going to show you a base. Okay? Okay, so here we go. So he's got 6 eggs here, and we're all going to get our wet ingredients together. We got some vanilla extract, and I'm going to add about a tablespoon. Now, this vanilla extract is homemade. I make it, and you can watch a YouTube video of mine on how to make vanilla extract. I'm going to add some salt, and about a teaspoon of salt here. Perfect. I'm going to put in 3/4 of a cup of applesauce. And the applesauce is really nice because it gives a little bit of natural sweetness to it. Perfect. And then I'm going to add some kefir. Now, this is a 1/2 cup of kefir. If you don't have kefir, you can use a yogurt instead. You can use milk, almond milk. Any of those substitutions would work. And if you want to learn how to make kefir, I have a YouTube video on that also, step by step, giving you hints and tips on how to make kefir, how to flavor it, and other uses for it. So he's mixing that up. And the other wet ingredients that I have here in this pot, I have some melted coconut oil and honey, about a tablespoon of melted honey and a quarter of a cup of coconut oil. And this is a bit warm, so I'm going to pour it in slowly so I don't shock my eggs. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do here is add some, I almost forgot, some cinnamon. I love cinnamon. You can omit this into your base recipe, but shredded coconut for me and almonds you gotta have cinnamon. So the next thing we want to do is add in our dry ingredients. Now this is where you would add in your raisins or your chocolate chips or anything else. You want to add, let's say, your pumpkin pie filling or your zucchini at the wet ingredients with the wet ingredients. So in this measuring cup, I have about 2 cups total. At the top here, I have some coconut flour that I bought at Superstore, Red Mills. You can use most health food stores nowadays sell coconut flour. Most grocery stores have a natural aisle with it, so you can find it quite easily. So we have about a cup of that, and then just this other layer is almond flour. Now, almond flour isn't as easy to find, so you can make it really easily. Soak your nuts, get your nuts prepared, throw it into a blender. You don't have to have a real expensive blender to do them. They blend up really nice. You can use a food processor. Just get them as fine as you can, and you got almond flour. If you want to learn how to soak nuts, you can also check out my YouTube channel on YouTube video on that as well. So we're going to add these 2 ingredients, and with that, I am going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm actually just going to drop it right in here. Now, don't worry, at the last slide of this video, I will give you a list of all the ingredients and how much that I used. Okay, so I'm just going to mix that together so it's evenly mixed. Kind of work it. Things stick a little bit with coconut flour. So I just kind of loosening up some of the clumps. Now, let's say you can't find coconut flour. One other thing you can do if you have a blend tech, or if you have a Vitamix, you can take shredded coconut and put it through your blender and make as fine as you can go coconut flour that way. It'll come out a little bit coarser, but still work not too bad. Go get a wooden spoon, buddy. So we're going to switch from a whisk to a wooden spoon. As Orion mixes this up. Perfect. And the coconut flour really absorbs liquid. So he's going to mix it up here. You got to get a little bit faster here, buddy, because it absorbs fairly quick. And around the edges. Awesome. So as you can see, right now it absorbs quite a bit, which is just perfect. Want a little taste test there, buds? It is absolutely delicious. Even at the batter, even at the batter stage. Delicious. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to just put it in my pan, being careful not to spread it out, not to lift it up, otherwise the poppy seeds will get incorporated into the actual mixture here. Awesome. This is just such an awesome recipe, and I love adding different ingredients to it. So you're not always eating the same thing, but lemon zest and chocolate chips and raisins and some orange juice, freshly squeezed orange juice. Oh, absolutely wonderful. This recipe is awesome. It's nice to have something that tastes good and is so functional and easy to make. So we're just going to spread this out here. Get the pieces that... Perfect. So at the top here, you could take a little bit of cinnamon if you like. I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit on top just to give it a nice little look. And it's time to go in the oven. So you want to cook this at 350, anywhere from 40 minutes to 1 hour. Check it at 40 minutes. It depends on your oven and the heat that your oven gives off, up to about 1 hour. So I will see you in an hour. We'll pop this out, cool it off, and cut it and see how it looks. Okay, we are back here. This is actually about 3 hours later. What I forgot to say when I was busy talking and putting this together, it is very important when it comes out of the oven that you keep it in the pan until it is mostly cool. Otherwise, because gluten-free doesn't bind like gluten recipes do, it needs to cool. Otherwise, when you flip it over, what's going to happen, it's going to just totally break apart. So what you want to do, now it's in my pan here. As you can see, it is nicely done. You notice a little spot missing. I had this cooling on my stove, and we got busy, you know, doing supper, and I didn't realize that Annika, my 2-year-old, came into the kitchen, and she has already taste tested it. That's okay. But this is how it looks. So it rose a bit, but it doesn't, I mean, you're not going to get this perfect loaf, you know, looking like, but let me tell you, the flavor is out of this world. So what you want to do is take a knife and just go around your loaf like this. And what that does is just loosens the edges up. And that's what you want. Okay? And then, because this is cool down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fingers on the loaf here as I tip it over so it doesn't just fall out. Because what happens sometimes, if it just falls out, it's going to snap in half. So you can see the poppy seeds at the bottom. That's why it looks black. It's not burnt. It's just the poppy seeds. Okay, so now what I want to do is flip over my loaf. And there you go. And some of the poppy seeds have come off here. And that's okay. And that's part, when I took my knife and went across, I accidentally cut a little bit of loaf. But that's okay. You want to eat that? Perfect. Now this is still warm to the touch here. So what we need now is a knife. Don't wait. So we'll come over here and we're just going to get a bread knife out of my drawer. Here. Maybe I'll wash my bread knife. We'll go over here and get my other bread knife. I obviously have it in the wash. Anyhow, I'll come over here and we're going to cut this. Now this is warm, so I want to be careful. I just want to show you what the inside looks like. Normally, I would have this cool overnight, but I'm going to gently, and there you go. That's what it looks like inside. Now, it is warm, but it will hold together, and what I like to do is put my gluten-free bread in the fridge. It stiffens it up, so when I'm ready to make a sandwich out of it or toast it, it's a little bit cool. It's easier to cut, but let me tell you, this holds together quite well. It is awesome. So I'm going to give a little bit to Nova here. Let's taste it. You ready? And those poppy seeds, they taste so good. They add a dimension of flavor to it. Oh, I love this bread. This is awesome. So send me comments. I want to hear your ideas with this bread. If you twist it up, add different ingredients, I want to hear it. I'm going to be adding chocolate chips and raisins and putting lemon zest and a little more cinnamon. You can make cinnamon raisin loaf. This is so good. I mean, you can even turn this into banana bread. I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy.